right, we're going to do step 1 of our geometric still life, which is the sketch. So you want to make sure you have everything ahead of time. So I have a ruler, I have a nice sharpened pencil, and I might use this for the spear. So I have a measuring cup. If you have a compass, feel free to do that. I went ahead and made some marks where I think my shapes are going to be. So I'm using the picture that I told you we were going to use from my slides as a guide. So right here, I'm going to start with my cone. And I'm going to do a 3-inch cone. So I am going to measure the sides. So there's one side. All right. And if you can't get your ruler down, just try to be as straight as possible. But you can also use another pencil, which is what I should have done. You can grab a pen, pencil, and use that for your angles. All right, so now for the bottom of my cone, I want to put in a smile, and I want it a little bit better than what I sketched before. All right. So you always want to draw a light. I went a little bit too dark, but that's okay because this side is going to be our dark area, but you always want to draw a light until you get it right. So now from our cone, we're going to start and do the cube. And I'm going to do a 1-inch cube. And I'm going to draw an obtuse angle. So that's an open angle, kind of like an opened up V. All right. So in the middle here, I'm just going to go straight up, and you can use your ruler or leave the side of your hand down and don't move it, and just move your pencil and go straight up in the middle. So now it looks like an open book. So I want to have a parallel side here and here. So I'm going to move up, keeping my ruler flat and steady, not moving it. And there's my side. So I'm going to box in my square. All right. And if you move kind of slowly and keep your hand on the side here, on the side, like this, just move your pencil, then you'll get a straight edge. So now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I want a parallel face or side right here. So I'm going to move my ruler up, still using the inch. All right, so now it looks like I have an open book. And I'm going to leave my hand flat, just moving the pencil straight down. Sketch that side in. Okay, so right here, I like to do a dashed line. So I know that's where I need to have a point meet here and here. And then I like to go across. So I form an X. Helps me get the top. So I have that X. It's going to help me get that top. And what you can do, another way, is we need this parallel edge right here. So you can sketch from there to there, but that doesn't always work. So I like to take my ruler and I'm going to move it. I'm going to keep that angle. Right there. And you can erase. All right, so I'm going to see if we got that right. Now what you can do is do the same thing over here. I'm going to tilt my paper slightly. And I want that parallel line. So if I get a little off, that's okay. I can go back and sketch that. All right. So there's my cube. Okay. A tiny bit off, but that's okay. Okay, now my sphere is going to be somewhere right in here. So there's two ways you can do this. You can use the measuring cup and you can lay it down and you can do some dashed lines and then just do this. If you're like, man, that's way too big, I think I need to erase that. And I couldn't find the right size, but I drew light enough and I'm going to put a background in later that I want to erase that. That sphere is way too big. So now what I want to do is I'm going to leave my hand still. I'm going to leave it down and I'm just going to move the pencil. So I'm going to do this motion. I'm going to turn my hand kind of into a compass and I'm only going to move my paper and the pencil. And I'm not going to move the palm of my hand. So it's my wrist and my pencils that's moving. See, that's a pretty good sphere, isn't it? All right. So pretty good size, a little bit smaller. Looks better than being so big. It's more proportioned. All right. So now we're on our final form, which is the cylinder. And you can do the same thing with your hand. You can use your ruler and draw a straight line, or I can leave my hand and not move it. I'm just moving the pencil and these first couple of fingers, basically. And I want it to be 1 inch wide. So I'm starting at the 0. Let's sketch up. So if we feel like that's a little too skinny, we can always move it to about right here. That looks a little better because it is going to be behind my cube. And if I want it a little bit longer, I can bring it down. Now I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to put the smile on the bottom of my cylinder. And then I drew light enough. I can erase my sketch, but we're going to shade over it anyway. So it's okay if you see a little light line. So now we need a parallel curved line at the top. So I'm going to try to do that parallel line. Need to smile at the top. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now what you want to do is we want to round that, and we want to remember not to get pointed corners here. So it's got to be round. If we accidentally do a pointed corner, we just sketch over it or we erase that corner out. And so you just kind of sketch until it looks right to you. All right, we've got our shapes. Make sure they're not in a straight line. So you want some interesting angles going on here. Okay, the final thing we're going to do is I'm going to put a horizon line. Usually we do that first. However, I didn't want a line going through my shapes. So I'm going to make sure my ruler's straight, hold it down in case it moves, and then put a straight line. So maybe your figures are sitting on a table, and that way we can do a background. So this is the end of step 1. So complete this today, and tomorrow we will do step 2.